This is the AM News. I'm Sweetie Abochi, bringing you all the details now. Let's start from Parliament, because Majority Leader Mahama Yariga says the NDC will use its overwhelming majority in Parliament to advance Ghana's democracy and will not abuse the electorate's trust. The NDC yesterday cemented their two-thirds majority following the swearing-in of Member of Parliament for Ablekuma North, Irabna Oben, which was marked with a dramatic walkout by the NPP minority. And our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, reports.
The deputy leaders as members of the delegation, that has always been the tradition. The deputy leaders always go to the ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this side is sending Honorable George Kweku Rikets-Hagan in his capacity as a deputy leader.
It's taking 7 months, and finally Ablekuma North is represented in Parliament. For the last 7 months, it's been a battle, legal and political, with the Electoral Commission in the middle of it, where the NPP fighting the Electoral Commission and asking them to declare their candidate as winner. The Electoral Commission stood its ground for some time, but at some point it buckled and decided to do a rerun in 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North. It did hold the election, and the NDC's Irabna Oben came out victorious. And so, after 7 months, their Member of Parliament walked into Parliament, but before she would take her oath of office, the minority did raise some objections and wanted to be heard.
We in the minority want to make a comment, a quick comment, before the member-elect is sworn in, and I seek your indulgence to do this quickly.
Are there legal objections that he intends to raise? What is that? And I don't think that we even want to hear what it is now. We are happy to hear it after the process is consummated. If he could not arrest anything at the Electoral Commission and could not arrest it at the polling station, it is not here this morning that he's going to be able to arrest anything.
Before she would take her oath of office, the minority did raise some objections and wanted to be heard. Well, after the Speaker decided he wasn't going to grant them any hearing until after the oath of office had been taken, they decided to walk out.
If that is the turn of event, then we in the minority, for the records, cannot be part of the swearing in. Yes, we cannot be part of the swearing in. So we are working on it. And this one is specific to the swearing in. Other businesses will engage in it.
Despite this walkout, the swearing in took place.
I, Oben Irabna,
having been elected a Member of Parliament, do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
With the NDC now having two-thirds majority in Parliament, even without requiring the independent MPs to form this, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga says they will not abuse these numbers.
The National Democratic Congress now, for the first time in a very long time, has 2/3 of this House. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, with this number, we can do many good things for this country. Yeah. We can carry out significant constitutional reforms to make this country better. Yeah. Ghanaians today have given us all the numbers that we need to reset Ghana. I want to assure Ghanaians that what President John Dramani Mahama said when he was being sworn in still stands, that the National Democratic Congress will not abuse the majority given to it by Ghanaians. We will use it wisely.
Despite the swearing in of Irabna Oben as the latest Member of Parliament, Parliament is still not set. It would have been said, but for the passing of the Member of Parliament for Akutia, which will mean a by-election again on the horizon for a new Member of Parliament to take his or her seat in the Chamber of Parliament. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Away from parliaments, traditional rulers across the country have been tasked to find lasting solutions to the long-standing chieftaincy disputes in their regions. Speaking during a legal training, representatives of National and Regional House of Chiefs, as well as directors from the Ministry of Local Governance in Accra, Director of the Judicial Service Training Institute, Justice Amadou Tanko, mentioned fast-tracking chieftaincy disputes will facilitate peace, stability and national development. Mamavi Sefakote has more.
The two-day training session at the Institute of Local Government Studies in Accra for 16 legal counsels from the National and Regional Houses of Chiefs was aimed at strengthening the capacity of traditional rulers in resolving chieftaincy disputes. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, assured the Council of improved conditions of service for traditional leaders based on the presidential-approved economic support that will take effect from September this year. He was hopeful the push will aid their operations mainly on settling chieftaincy disputes which impede development.
As I speak to you, for the chiefs, starting from the chiefs, the President has approved increment for economic conditions of service for the chiefs. Is it third quarter? By third quarter, those economic conditions of service will be delivered to the chiefs. If we don't know anything at all, we know the cause of instability. We know the cause of chieftaincy dispute. We know the cost of organizing, resec and dissec to deal with chieftaincy dispute.
Director of the Judicial Training Institute, Justice Amadou Tanko, also tasked the Council to find alternative means of resolving the many chieftaincy disputes pending before the Supreme Court.
I would like the Honorable Minister to take this serious without prejudice to pending matters. Accra is definitely a flashpoint. I'm aware there is something in the Supreme Court coming on either next week or in another week. Why the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs has not been able to determine that dispute, Honorable Minister, is shocking. So we need the Judicial Committee of the Greater Regional House of Chiefs to make a determination one way or the other and stop handling this very sensitive litigation in piecemeal.
Legal advisor of the National House of Chiefs, Alex Obeng Asante, stated that they would do their best to work towards solving chieftaincy disputes in the regions.
We are post, we are public service lawyers, we are working, we get paid by the taxpayers' money. So we are not saying we are not working, we are working. We are working. You bring your case, the panel is assembled, we hear you.
Chieftaincy disputes have been a bane to modernization and innovation in some regions. The training to the representatives to break away from this act negatively impacting their communities. For Joy News, Mamavi Sefakote's report read to you.
I want to take you to Burkina Faso now, where two persons returning from a funeral have been reported drowned in the Black Volta. The duo, Techi Patrick, who's 30 years old, and Male Nuba Cynthia, who's 38 years old, both hailed from Pankpama. Now, their boat capsized at Pankpama, prompting a search by local divers. The body of Male Nuba Cynthia was later retrieved at Tuoli, and another community located near the Black Volta in the district. This tragic incident comes on the heels of the drowning of 7 senior high school students from Laura Senior High School last month at Dikpe. And our Joy News Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Bankpama.
In neighboring Burkina Faso, when the boat capsized few meters away from their place of disembarkment, their 30-year-old Techi Patrick and middle-aged Cynthia. Wawa's District Chief Executive Richard Wulo revealed that the duo were on the boat with 2 others, including a 3-year-old baby who was miraculously saved from drowning by the operator of the boat, who is of Burkinabe extraction. A search party consisting of local divers, after 2 days, found Cynthia at Tuole, which lies several kilometers away from the scene of the disaster. The incident has thrown the Bankpama community into a state of confusion and mourning.
I had a call that some people got drowned in the Black Volta around Bankpama in the Wa West district. So the following day, that was on Monday, we were there. These were people that attended a funeral in Burkina Faso. After the funeral, they were returning to Ghana. And on crossing the Black Volta, the boat capsized, and then 2 of them got drowned, a man and a woman. So currently, as we speak, only the woman has been retrieved around a community called Tule. For the man is still missing and the search team is still on.
The incident has thrown the Bankpama community into a state of confusion and mourning. Richard Ulo asserted that he has met with some security stakeholders in the district to find lasting solution to these disasters that normally occurs during the peak rainy season when the water level on the Black Volta is high.
I invited the NADMO, the district NADMO director was there. The regional NADMO also came in, and they assured us that they will provide some life jackets so that we will use it as safety measures for people who always want to cross over to the other side.
The Wobers District Chief Executive expressed worry about the age group of people manning the operations of the boats, adding that there is a need for sensitization coupled with stringent punitive measures to ward off children from the operation of the boats.
I noticed that minors were using the canoes, and I think that is quite unfortunate. So I advise that we can put in some basic regulations as regards to water transportation so that we save their lives. I realized that some children as low as between 9 to 10 years were using the canoes, and I think that that is not allowed. So I think that if we have to all come together in collaboration with NADMO so that we can sensitize communities around those areas living closer to the Black Volta to put in some safety measures to avoid some of these occurrences.
The incident is coming on the heels of the Dekwebo disaster that claimed the lives of 7 students of Laura Senior High School who the region is yet to recover from. Reporting for Day News, Rafik Salam, Bankpama.
The Free Senior High School coordinator, Benita Sena Okitijia, has reviewed government's decision of a pilot inclusion of 60 private senior high schools in the Free Senior High School program. And this follows the Ministry of Education's move to integrate 25 private schools into the national placement system. Speaking at the 20th anniversary celebration of St. Andrew's Senior High School in Asinfosu, Okitijia described the decision as a bold and strategic step, adding that the government intends to expand the pilot inclusion of the in the 2026-2027 academic year. Abigail Issa-Linkroma reports.
The 20th anniversary celebration of St. Andrew's Senior High School in Asinfosu was marked by a speech and prize-giving event which acknowledged the academic achievements and contributions of students and teachers while highlighting the school's success over the years. Dr. Richard Esiedu is the owner of the school.
We gather to celebrate a momentous occasion, that's the 20th anniversary of our founding, and beautiful faces and spectacle I behold reminds us of the power of education to transform lives and shape futures. From humble beginnings to the community of schools we have today, St. Andrews has grown and evolved, yet remain committed to the core values of hard work, excellence, and integrity. We have continued to track the progress of our students in the main public universities and other institutions in the country. Our statistics shows that St. Andrew's Senior High School has been responsible for the intake of 4,000 students at the University of Ghana, 3,600 students at the University of Cape Coast, 3,100 students at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and over 3,000 students at the University of Education. I'm talking about from level 100 to level 400.
Speaking to the theme of the day, the Free SHS coordinator, Benita Sena Okitijia, announced government's plan of a pilot inclusion of 60 private senior high schools in the program, in a move she describes as bold and strategic.
The theme for today's event the inclusion of private senior high schools in free SHS program, a mirage or reality, is both provocative and appropriate. In a bold and strategic move, the government has commenced the pilot inclusion of 60 private senior high schools in the free SHS program. And I'm proud to say St. Richard's is part of the private school pilot this year.
Professor George Kweku-Odro, a professor of educational leadership at the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration at the University of Cape Coast, urged parents and academic stakeholders to appreciate the purpose for which the school was established.
As we celebrate the 20th anniversary of St. Andrew's Schools, I urge students, teachers, headmasters to always reflect on the fundamental purpose for which St. Andrew's Schools were established by the founder, Professor Richard Asiedu, as we journey through the next 20 years.
From Asemfosu, Abigail Lissal Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
In other news, the former Chief Executive Officer of the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, Charles Abugri, wants the Northern Caucus in Parliament to revisit the SADC's strategic plan. This plan, he said, aimed to boost economic growth in northern Ghana through short and medium-term strategies. The plan covers key areas like education, agri, jobs, among others. Mr. Abugri noted that feasibility studies had been conducted on some of these projects, including the Paulugu Dam and other dams, to support agriculture in the northern Ghana. He shared these thoughts at the first Northern Ghana Development Conference in Tamale, organized by the Northern Caucus in Parliament.
Northern Ghana Development Conference under the theme A Northern People, Leaders in Partnership brought together all the members of Parliament from Northern Ghana development partners, chiefs, among other stakeholders, to dialogue on a new approach to bringing development to the area, spearheaded by the MPs for the area. Speaking at the inaugural gathering in Tamale, the former Chief Executive Officer of SADA said these dams, when constructed, would help irrigate up to 5,000 hectares on an average.
I would like to ask this caucus, to an independent government and successive government, to commit to at least 3 medium-sized dams. By medium-sized dams, I mean dams that irrigate a minimum of 5,000 hectares on average per electoral cycle. Pre-feasibility studies have been conducted and paid for by the World Bank for at least 12 of these dams. They don't cost billions. They cost between $60 million and $100 million a piece. The benefits are far bigger. We don't need to be stuck with the Congo Dam alone.
The Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, assured the caucus of President Mahama's support.
I'm so happy that the initiative is being started by the people themselves, and I want to assure you that definitely you will get the necessary support from your son. Your son, President John Dramani Mahama, is willing to accelerate the development of the North and accelerate the development of the country. And so my plea is that let's put politics aside, and as has been stated by the earlier speakers, let's approach this project with a bipartisan approach.
The majority leader of Parliament, Mahama Yerga, outlined the rationale for the conference.
Is to set aside partisan differences and forge a common commitment to the Northern cause, to work together to achieve the objectives of development of the North, to do whatever it takes to improve the living conditions of our people, to leverage on our knowledge, experiences, and networks to guide our regional ministers, NMDCs, chiefs, and our private sector to advance the economic development of the 5 regions.
Takes us into our business update now with Samuel Kojo-Brace.
Let's do business update now by starting with what is happening on the currency market. Away from that, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's new set of guidelines on the application of exchange rates at the ports, arguing it will address discrepancies in forex pricing. The Bank of Ghana, in a statement, directed players in the shipping industry to publish daily exchange rate used for invoicing on their website and communicated to customers prior to the issuance of invoices or payment. Reacting to the development, First Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Nana Esiama Pepra, the first, said the move will ensure transparency and alignment with regulatory frameworks.
As the shipping lines, they are one of the major operators of the port. There are several shipping lines in Ghana. They all use different exchange rates. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana issue exchange rate for the week, which customs and other port operators use for the week. So every week, every Monday, there is a new exchange rate that comes. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it comes down. Mostly, until recently, it goes up. But to our surprise, the shipping lines don't comply with that. They use their own exchange rate. And that is one of the major issues that we have been raising. And luckily enough, we are happy to hear this thing from the president through the Bank of Ghana.
Great. Let's wrap up the business update with what's happening on the commodities market.